Hi, 5th grade. It's Mrs. Gioka with your flipped math lesson for today, 13-2. Today's objective is I can convert between larger and smaller customary units of capacity using multiplication or division. So let's talk about what that means real quick. We know that converting means that we are changing something. So convert means the same as change. And we're using these customary units again. Okay, so not the metric system, it's the other system, the customary unit system. And then we are measuring capacity. So how much is the volume of something? How much is it able to fill? Okay, here is our practice problem. Sue is making punch. She needs 3 cups of orange juice and 6 pints of lemonade. How many fluid ounces of orange juice and how many quarts of lemonade does she need? This problem is about capacity. It means how much of something in volume. And the questions that we're being asked is how many fluid ounces of orange juice and how many quarts of lemonade does she need? So we've got 2 different questions coming in here, and we're going to be using this important information. There's 3 cups of orange juice and 6 pints of lemonade. So now that we've found our important information, I'm going to stop this question for a minute, and I want to talk to you about customary units of capacity. Okay, so I just wanted to remind you that when we go from a smaller measurement to a larger measurement, then when we go from smaller to larger, we're going to divide our numbers. When we go from a larger unit to a smaller unit, we're going to be multiplying. Okay, so keep that in mind from the lesson before. And for today, we're using capacity, units of capacity, which means volume. Those are fluid ounces, a cup, a pint, quart, and a gallon. You're going to want to make sure that you write these things down because you're going to be expected to know how to change from one to another. Okay? I've put them in order from smallest to greatest. So fluid ounces is the smallest measurement, then a cup is larger, then a pint is even larger, quart is larger than that, and a gallon is the largest unit of capacity. So now let's talk about, well, what they equal, how much of one another that they equal. 1 cup equals 8 fluid ounces. Okay, a cup equals 8 fluid ounces. 1 pint is the same as 2 cups. Okay, 1 pint equals 2 cups. So if you put 2 cups together, that equals a pint, which is the same as 16 fluid ounces. And I know that because I can multiply 2 times 8, and that would equal 16. 1 quart is the same as 2 pints. How many cups would that be? If you said 4 cups, you're right. How many fluid ounces would that be? If you said 32, you are right. Now this is how I remember a quart, is that I go to Quick Trip and I can get a quart, a drink, and it's always 32 ounces. Okay, so far we've got a cup equals 8 fluid ounces, a pint equals 2 cups, and 1 quart equals 2 pints. You might think to yourself, well, we're just going to keep multiplying by 2, but it doesn't always work out that way. 1 gallon is the same as 4 quarts. So that one's a little different. It's the same as 4 quarts. How many pints would that be? How many quarts are or how many pints are in a gallon? Well, it'll be 2 pints for each quart, and there's 4 quarts, so 2 times 4 would be 8, so 8 pints. How many cups would that be? There are 4 cups in a quart, so 4 times 4 would be 16 cups. A little bit later, the question's going to come up, how many ounces are there in a gallon? How many fluid ounces are there in a gallon? All right, now this is a way to remember how many pints and cups and quarts and gallons all go together. So I'm going to rewind it, and I'm going to go back. I want to show you how to draw this. And I want you to draw it so that you can see how many cups, pints, quarts, and gallons there are and how they all equal each other. So I'm going to start off with my gallon. Draw a great big G. G for gallon. It is the largest unit of capacity that we'll be using today. Next, I know a gallon contains 4 quarts. So I'm going to draw 4 Q's for 4 quarts. Okay, so draw your 4 quarts inside your big G. Then I know that there are 2 pints in each quart. So inside of each Q I draw 2 P's because there are 2 pints in each quart. So you can see I'm going backwards from the largest unit to the smallest unit. Cups comes next, and inside of each pint are 2 cups. So draw 2 cups inside of each pint. And there you go. Okay, so this drawing is to help you remember how many cups, pints, quarts are all together in a gallon, and then also how much are in each other. So you can see that there are 2 cups in a pint. There are 2 pints in a quart. Okay, which is the same as 4 cups in a quart. And there are 4 quarts in a gallon. Okay? Now let's go back to our problem. Sue's making punch. She needs 3 cups of orange juice and 6 pints of lemonade. How many fluid ounces of orange juice? How many quarts of lemonade does she need? So we've got our 2 questions. How many fluid ounces of orange juice? How many quarts of lemonade does she need? Okay? So we have to figure out from our first question, because our first question was, how many fluid ounces of orange juice are there? There are 3 cups of orange juice. How many fluid ounces does that equal? 3 cups equals how many ounces? Well, down here I've drawn a line to show 3 cups, and I know that 1 cup equals 8 fluid ounces. So I've got my 8 fluid ounces next to each other to equal 3 cups. So when I go from a larger unit, like cups, to a smaller unit, like ounces, I'm going to use multiplication. Okay? As long as I can remember, when I go from larger to smaller, I multiply, I'm going to be okay with my operation. Now I have to know what to multiply. I'm going to multiply 8 ounces times 3 cups. Okay? So 8 times 3. 8 times 3 equals 24. I could have just added 8 plus 8 plus 8, which is the same as 8 times 3, but I want to use multiplication because I want to remember that when I go from a larger unit to a smaller, I'm using multiplication. So 3 cups equals 24 ounces, so we answered that first question. The second question was, how many quarts of lemonade does she need? She has 6 pints of lemonade. How many quarts is that? Remember, pints is smaller than quarts, so we're going from a smaller unit to a larger unit, so we're going to be dividing. When you go from a smaller unit to a larger unit, you have to divide. So down here I've drawn my 6 pints. I know that 1 quart equals 2 pints. So I'm going to draw a line. I know that's a quart. I know that's another quart. And I know that's another quart. Okay? So 1 quart equals 2 pints. I have 6 quarts. I'm going to divide them by 2 pints each, and 6 divided by 2 equals 3. So I'm going to get 3 quarts from 6 pints. Okay, let's practice some problems. 32 cups equals how many gallons? 32 cups equals how many gallons? Now I can either go back to my picture that I drew with the great big G in it and look in there, or what I'm probably going to be asked to do eventually is to see if I can multiply. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next largest unit and then the next largest unit all the way up to gallons. Okay, so 32 cups. I know that 2 cups equals a pint, so I'm going to find out how many pints there are first. Okay, so I'm going to take 32, because I'm going from smaller to larger. I have to, or smaller unit to a larger unit, I'm going to have to divide. So 32 divided by 2, so that equals 16 pints. I know that 2 pints equals a quart, so I'm going to take 16 and divide it by 2 again. So 16 divided by 2 is 8 quarts. And I know that there are 4 quarts in a gallon, so I'm going to take 8 divided by 4, and that equals 2. Whoops. 2 gallons. So 32 cups is the same as 2 gallons. Okay? Now if you go back to the picture, you can also see, I'm going to get rid of the white, you can see that there are 4, 8, 12, 16 cups in a gallon. Okay? I could have also just done from cups to gallons by divided by 16. So I could have taken 32 and divided by 16, and that equals 2 gallons. Okay? Either way is fine. I still come to the same answer, that 32 cups equals 2 gallons. Let's try number 2. 16 quarts equals how many cups? I'm going from a larger unit to a smaller unit, so I know I'm going to be using multiplication. I know that inside of 1 quart, that 1 quart equals 2 pints, and I also know it equals 4 cups. Okay, so I could go back to my picture to find out, to find out how much a quart equals in cups. So go back. So I see each of these Q's, okay, is a quart, and I see that 1 quart equals 4 cups. Okay? So 1 cup equals 4 quarts. I could have used my picture to find that out, but I just used my reasoning to figure that out. So I'm going to take 16, because that's the number I'm starting with, times 4, because 1 quart equals 4 cups, so 16 quarts equals how many cups? So I'm going to take 16 times 4 and multiply that out. 4 times 6 is 24. Carry the 2. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 more is 6. So 64 cups. Number 3. 48 quarts equals blank pints. I'm going from a larger unit quarts to a smaller unit pints, so I know I'm going to use multiplication. I need to know how many pints are in 1 quart. I need to figure that out first. How many pints are in a quart? So I'm going to go back to my picture. I've got a quart, and I see in 1 quart there are 2 pints. Okay, 1 quart equals 2 pints. So I'm going to be multiplying times 2, and I'm going to multiply how many quarts I have. 48 times 2. So 48 times 2. 2 times 8 is 16. Carry the 1. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 more is 9. 96 pints. 48 quarts equals 96 pints. Okay, so now it's your turn. Number 5, or 4, 40 quarts equals how many gallons? You're going from a smaller unit quarts to a larger unit gallons. Pause the video, solve the problem, and then check it and see if you got it right. Okay, I know 1 gallon equals 4 quarts, so I took 4 times 40, and that equals 160. Whoops, I did the wrong way, didn't I? I did 40 quarts into gallons. Whoops, I did the opposite thing that I was supposed to do. Let me go back and fix that. Whoops. I was thinking there were 40 gallons, but I made a mistake. So I need to divide. I know that 1 gallon equals 40 quarts. So now I need to, or 4 quarts. Goodness sakes. So I need to divide 40 divided by 4, and that equals 10. so 10 gallons. See, teachers make mistakes too. Happens all the time. Number 5, 3 quarts and 1 pint equals how many pints? Okay, so I know that 1 quart is the same as 2 pints. So I took 3 quarts times 2 pints, and that equals 6 pints total. 3 times 2 is 6. Then I didn't want to forget that 1 pint up there, so 6 plus 1 equals 7. So 7 pints. Number 6, 5 pints equals how many quarts and how many pints? You're going to have a remainder for this one. Okay, I know that 1 quart is the same as 2 pints, so I took 5 and I divided by 2 because I'm going from smaller unit to a larger unit, so I have to divide. 5 divided by 2 equals 2, so 2 quarts. And then I had a remainder of 1, so that would be 1 leftover pint. So 5 pints equals 2 quarts and 1 pint. One more problem. An aquarium holds 2 gallons of water. How many cups is this? Okay, to figure that out, I knew that 1 gallon equals 16 cups. I know because when I go back to my picture that I drew, way back there, I counted the cups and there were 16 cups in that gallon. So if there's 16 cups in 1 gallon, I'm trying to figure out how many there are in 2 gallons, so I took 2 times 16, and that equals 32. So the answer is 32 cups. I boxed my answer, and now we are finished. Thanks very much. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.